Yes, HTM Esports are going to be Team Electros' opponents, and we saw them earlier today, of course, in that first matchup. They didn't perform as good as they wanted to, but like we hinted at, they're kind of a hit or miss team. Sometimes they only get 9 or 10 stars, and then out of nowhere, they can have a perfect war. So you never know what you're going to get when you're watching this team. Maybe this is going to be one of those matches where they just come out swinging and decide to 3-star every single base.
But I feel like at the same time, they are one of the more predictable teams because I at least have not seen them do anything different than Root Riders. Well, yes, most of the teams obviously are playing Root Riders. Actually, let me quickly check the numbers. But so far, we have 80% of the attacks being Royal Champion Charge Root Rider attacks, while 15% being Royal Champion Charge Dragon attacks. And we have twice the different strategy because that was, well, a Warden walk with Root Riders. So overall, a lot of Root Riders, and it seems like that Royal Champion Root Riders are really the strategy, or is really the strategy HTM Esports likes to bring and forcing on every single base. So the question is that too predictable for Team Electros? And are they able to somehow defend this opening with Team Electros on their own? They have to get their attacks in and right as well, because we have seen it in the first match. They have not performed that bad, except one attack. That really has cost them.
And I guess you made a good point where, you know, I've been saying HTM Esports are kind of hit or miss, but maybe it's against teams that aren't necessarily building specifically against them. But when they are so predictable, if you do know that they're going to use 5 Root Rider attacks, maybe it does make it even easier for these teams on this particular weekend to say, hey, we're going to build 5 bases that we think are only designed to counter Root Riders. And it does make it to where HTM Esports might struggle even more than they usually do.
Yeah, it's never easy, but something which is not easy either are the predictions. So let's jump into that quickly. And well, we are all on the same page with this one. Team Electros all the way. I feel like in their first match, even though they had this one little miss, they tried something new with the raged rocket spear on the Royal Champion Charge. It did backfire, unfortunately, but at least to me, this is like promising enough that I'm picking Team Electros in this one. Why did you go with Team Electros?
I just have a good feeling about them. I think they're more consistent. Even if they're not winning every single match, you can at least kind of know what to expect. And I feel like they're still solidly hitting in that 12-star range. Every once in a while, they'll perform a little bit better. But when I've been watching them over the weeks, they often at least get that 1 or 2 3-stars, where HTM Esports, it does feel like half the time they're just hitting that 10 stars.
Yeah, and those are our predictions. Let's take a look at what the community thinks. And overall, I would say we all agree that Team Electros is a really clear and big favorite in this one. I'm not sure if that was, at least it looks like, I think, one of the most one-sided matches prediction-wise when it comes down to casters and as well the community agreeing together. Let's see if the match is going to go exactly that way, or if we're going to see maybe a little bit of a surprise going to that match.
Yes, indeed. And if you want to get in on the action, you can go to event.supercell.com/Clash of Clans and show your support and even earn some in-game rewards. So go check that out as we get ready for this matchup.
Yep, that is right. Getting ready indeed, making sure that we have every correct army loaded for the players, that they are having some time to actually take a look at the bases, because remember, those matches are a little bit different to what you normally see in your Clan Wars, because those matches are played with a 45-minute war timer, and the first attack is typically going in after roughly 8 minutes, which means those teams do not have too long to plan, so they need to be quick. And they need to be quick, making sure the correct army is selected, the correct spells, the correct equipment, everything is ready. And we're having the first attacker about to go in, as we're seeing the last preparation for him, making sure it's the correct base to attack. That's always that. It can happen, but it's always the worst feeling that you're taking the wrong base. I mean, it has happened before, but I don't wish that to anyone.
Definitely scary. I can remember attacking in the past, and sometimes I would back out and go into scout view like 4 times over again just to make sure I'm really looking at the right base before hitting attack. You can see Spiz here with his player cam set up. He's going through looking at his army, making sure the heroes and the equipments are correct. Looks like he's even filling in his clan castle troops on that nice large device.
Yeah, it's always way easier to play on those bigger devices, but I've seen as well that some of those pros really like going crazy with those smaller devices, which I'm always so impressed with, because I never know how they do it, but we're in now. We are in, and it's going to be a Root Rider attack as we were predicting. We have the common and novel combinations when it comes down to equipment. And again, we have that Crusher Mortar right in front of the Town Hall.
Here we go with the Royal Champion in from the northwest side of the base. The oh-so common Royal Champion Spirit Walk here, trying to carve out some nice value. The pathing pretty straightforward for her to go in toward this little section with the Spell Tower, toward the Giga Bomb. Unfortunately there, Spirit Fox dies early. She was not inside that Invis spell. And although she still is likely going to be able to get the value he wants from this early section, he won't have that Spirit Fox later.
He won't have that indeed, which is always a tool to protect that Royal Champion as the attack is moving forward. And losing her early hurts a lot, but the Root Riders are in. The Siege is in there as well. The first Black Mines are getting triggered. The Root Riders are now trying to follow, go for the defenses, opening up those compartments. But this left Leader Hut might lead them into the wrong direction. Nope, the Royal Champion is quick enough.
Luckily enough, that went down. We do have the King on the outside of the base. We're seeing the Warden ability being used right here. This is one of the rare attacks from today where we're not seeing the Rage Gem. The Rage Gem has been kind of a staple, very common in being used today, but not on this one. We're going with, it looked like the Eternal Tome in combination with the Healing Tome. The King on the right side having to use the Spiky Ball kind of early. He's getting hit pretty hard. And as we get through this middle section, we're going to drop an Overgrowth spell on the Town Hall, which this late in the attack does feel risky. It looks like the pathing might be okay if it wears off in time.
Yeah, it really comes down to the timings now, because he still has another Rage in the freeze, but the troops are slowly making their way around the Town Hall, which is never a good timing. There goes the Rage to save and protect that Archer Queen, at the same time taking down the Town Hall. We have some troops on the outside, but those witches won't have a fun time versus the splash of that Crushing Mortar. Maybe it's still going to be enough with the Archer Queen and the Giant going on the top left side.
The Royal Champion able to take out that Crusher Mortar. The Queen down to just a tiny bit of health. A Ricochet Cannon likely going to eliminate her. Yes, it does. That Ricochet Cannon looking a little bit scary, and it has fizzled out here as the Giant also likely going to die to that Ricochet Cannon. A bit unfortunate that toward the end there of getting through the core, the healers just decided to stick on that Yeti instead of going to help either the Queen or even the Royal Champion. That could have made a big difference.
Yeah, that would have been great to have her alive on that back end for sure, but we have the Yeti still trying to maybe go for the wall and go for one or two more beatings. We have seen now quite some time that percentage can be a big deciding factor, but yet again, not a 3-star for HTM. They're still waiting for the first 3-star in this final stage of this qualifier, and it seems like that the first attack of this match is not going to be exactly that. Team Lexnos now are on their chance of getting the lead in this matchup, but for that, they have to 3-star.
Indeed, they do. And it's difficult to try to get into their headspace and understand how they're feeling, whether they're feeling super confident about this match or if they're a little bit unsure of themselves, since they did go into this lower bracket right away. We'll see what they come up with on their first attack, but they got to at least feel good about that defense right away. Not the highest percent, so in terms of Team Electros, you'd have to consider that a pretty good defense.
Yeah, I think they're really happy with their defense. And Diego is going to be the first attacker for Team Electros. And even though it kind of backfired for them, unfortunately, in their first match, but I really hope that we're going to see something again like this raged up rocket spear or like something out of the box, because I feel like if those things work, the defender never ever expect those, and that's always something which I enjoy watching. But we have the Royal Champion charge in here and into a compartment where there can't be that many traps, it feels like, or how many traps are in this dead zone?
Let's see, as the Royal Champion goes up toward the scatter shot, toward the air defense, she's going to start getting in range of where Giant Bombs potentially could be. There's one, and he goes ahead and recalls before she even takes damage from it. So a very simple Royal Champion funnel, and now we're just going to get started going straight at that Town Hall.
Going straight in there, but he needs to create that funneling around that Town Hall, and he does that with investing that overgrowth spell. We have the Archer Queen at the bottom side taking down those outside buildings to really keep those Root Riders inside the base. But there's a lot of damage as well, especially with the defending Clan Castle, which is this Rocket Loom, which just went down. But technically the hit points of the Root Riders, the first one going down, the second one already really low on hit points.
We did drop the troop launcher in range of that wizard tower that was just hitting it the entire time, so that troop launcher already low on HP, but it might still get all of its barrels off. Hard to tell. King on the outside of the base with an ice golem and then a baby dragon on the right to try to really solidify the funnel. The second overgrowth is being used, but he does not hit that crusher mortar, and it is doing a lot of damage as the Royal Champion tries to go take it out now.
We're trying to spot if there's any Root Riders left alive. I think the bottom compartment did open, but at this stage all of the Root Riders are gone. The Royal Champion trying her best, but without the support of spells, the Royal Champion is about to go down. But she was able to deliver some of those rocket spears, but without protection she is going down indeed. The Warden as well, which means the Rage Gem is gone. And Team Electros as well are struggling with their first attack. Their only hope right now is that Queen ability to pick up some more percentages.
It is nice to get the 3 queens out, doing triple the damage for a bit of time, but even with 3 of them, it just takes forever to get through some of these max level supercharged defenses. They have so much HP, and as the time trickles down, he is racking up the percentage points. It is going to be a higher percent than HTM Esports' first attack, but still, it's going to be a defense, and we're going to be tied at least on stars after the first round of attacks. He's still moving through, though. This is actually getting closer than it looked. He's going to get into the mid-90s potentially.
Yeah, really nice job with that Archer Queen equipment combination. It's just so good having that action figure and the magic mirror, combining the power and the tankiness of those two equipments, and this results in a 94%. It looked not that great during the middle part, where it felt like that most of the army has been taken care of after, what is it, 75-ish%, but he was able to push it all the way up to the high 90s, which means they're up in the lead, percentage-wise at least.
Indeed, they're going to be a little bit up on percent, and now we can go into the next round of attacks, and we'll see if Van will finally be able to secure that first 3-star for HTM Esports. He's already in with the Royal Champion, working here on the left side of the base. Again, pretty classic army that we're expecting. Ooh, but look, he's actually got a giant arrow equipped on his Archer Queen, and a log launcher, and a couple of earthquake spells. It's going to be fun to see where he tries to set that up.
Okay, that's interesting. Not really a big investment. I feel like looking back at what we have seen already from, again, Max, who likes to invent those different openings, I feel like he could have approached pretty much the same with just doing a quick Warden Walk, based on what we have seen from Max, because the Royal Champion charge really was so quick. Let's hope that he got enough value and he was able to provide that pathing, because we have again this combination of Super Valkyrie and the Super Yeti. Come on, how much value can the Electromites get? And Scatter went down.
Nice. It was nice to see that the scatter shot went down. The extra defense kind of makes me think, okay, maybe the Super Valk and the Super Yeti were worth it instead of just the normal 3 Yetis, but it's hard to tell for sure. We do have the overgrowth spell here on the Town Hall, on the scatter shot, forcing all of his units around toward the right side of the base, and considering the fact that he's still an ability, not even activated yet, power-wise, this is looking pretty decent. We'll see if he can keep these healers alive.
That is always the big task. Keeping the healers alive is just so crucial. We have the outside defense getting taken care of, which means the Root Riders should stick together, which is important so the healers are as efficient as possible. But the Train Trap is rotating the Royal Champion into the King. He has to freeze the King. The Headhunters are in there, but the Multi-Inferno Tower is covering the King. So let's see how long they can stay alive. The Rocket Spears are getting activated, but there is no protection for the Royal Champion. The healers are coming in clutch.
The healers saved the day in the Rage Gym. Look at those healers. The Royal Champion looked like she was about to die, and then out of nowhere, she gets saved. Now the healers are switching back over to the Warden, just taking turns on each hero, keeping both of them alive for now. It's looking really close. Not many supporting troops left alive. And as the Ricochet Cannon locks on, down goes that Royal Champion. But the question is, does the Warden, with the Sneezy, have a chance to get all these defenses? The Frosty is actually slowing down the Ricochet Cannon.
Oh no, the Black Mine, the air defense. Without that air defense, it would have been most likely a triple. But that air defense covering those last two ground defenses is the big difference. And this means we have the defense. It's a high percentage. It's one of the highest percentage we have seen so far from HTM. But they're still just so close, so little bit away from that 3-star. And that is all what the difference makes in those matches.
Yep, percent can only take you so far. At some point, you're going to need a 3-star or 2 to have a chance to win, likely. Rigotorres coming in with the next attack, hoping that he can be the first one to deliver a 3-star in this matchup. Once again, going in with the Root Riders and opening up with the Royal Champion walk. And you know, one thing I've been noticing, it seems like the majority of these attacks are sending their Royal Champions, even on symmetric basis, on the side that has the Giga Bomb. Do you have any idea why they prefer to do that?
I feel like because even if it's baited, they have this option of tanking the bomb with the new spell. So if it's harder to be baited going into a trap which you can see, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's the main reason why we see now so many people going directly into the Giga Bomb, because they can exactly expect where the traps are, when to time and when to use the spell.
That was a very cool way to see the new spell being used right there, and he just timed it perfectly, just like you kind of already saw he was about to do just a second or two before he actually did it, dropping that new spell, which basically takes away, I think, like 94% of the damage on your troop while that spell is activated if you have it at max level. So really cool way to basically negate the effects of the Giga Bomb, get it out of the way while also still setting that funnel for the Royal Champion. And here we go with the pretty classic way to send the Root Riders around the Town Hall, dodging it with the first Overgrowth, and now we can go take it out.
Warden ability, covering everything, keeping everything safe, but the Town Hall, and especially that Mortar has to go down behind the Town Hall. It can deal so much damage with the splash. Right now it's nicely distracted from those Town Hall troops, but if it's switching to something different and it's going to splash onto the Warden without the Rage Aura, this attack can go downhill really quick.
Second Overgrowth did cover some key defense. The Royal Champion got targeted by the enemy Minion Prince and the multi-Archer Tower. She goes down very quickly with that much incoming damage. We do still have the King ability and the Queen ability, and he actually has a lot of Super Barbarians for the back end. He just dropped about 4 of them on the 6 o'clock side and still has 7 left over for the right side.
Yeah, there's still some troops on that back end. The King ability can be clutch because he's clearing the outside buildings, which means the spiky ball is going to go from defense to defense. He should use it after the multi-arch tower, I believe. Right now, there we go. Defenses are going down. It's going to be the first 3-star. Rigotorres is getting the job done for his team. And while we have seen on the HTM esports side a few percentage points missing, Rigotorres gets the job done. Great funnel in the beginning. Nice use of the new spell. Really pulling off then in the end the 3-star.
A very cool slight tweak on how to use this army from Rigotorres. And Rigo, a player that has just been in the World Championship circuit since the very beginning. He's been around since 2019 and just doing so well here, still showing that he's got the skills to get it done. Now the pressure shifting over toward HTM Esports, because they can't just get away with high percent attacks anymore. They have to step up. They need at least one of their players, if not more, to come in with a 3-star.
We're having the Royal Champion skipping into that compartment right away, but he did not invest another invest, which means that Royal Champion dropping quickly, low on hit points. He's going to clear out that compartment. But at what cost? Is that already enough for his funnel? Is that already the moment he's going to No, the Royal Champion going to the wrong direction. He is recalling. But that Royal Champion is so low on hit points.
She's on just what looks like 5 HP. Gonna need to make sure we get her either in the healing of the healers or in a potential healing tome. He does drop the overgrowth extremely early, many seconds before he even deploys the Root Riders. And it was hard to tell if he wanted to hit the monolith with it or not, but he did not be able to take out the monolith early, but it is looking like it's taken out a couple of his Root Riders before he's able to eliminate it.
Yeah, some of those Root Riders are going down early, but finally the defense is going down. Pathing is split right now, and he's going to take a lot of damage from that Giga Bomb. I feel like everything is going to group up around it, and there we go. Every hero pretty much took damage there, except the Warden. That Warden stayed back a little bit and stayed safe. He's going to use that Rocket Spear ability nice and early to keep that Royal Champion safe, which is a smart use. But is it still going to be enough value to take down that Town Hall?
She is starting to target the Town Hall with still a few Rocket Spears in her bag. After using them all, she gets up right close and personal with the Town Hall. Luckily, it looks like the Fox was still alive, going invisible a couple times, but now, after that Fox dies, the Royal Champion getting targeted by everything, she drops as well. And as she's out, we're just relying on the King and the Queen. The Queen had her ability there, and we got the Rage Gem of the Warden. But if the Ricochet Cannon hits the Warden, this could be bad news.
Well, only one bounce. The Warden has to stay alive. The cannon is not supposed to attack it. So far, the Warden stays alive. Every second where this hero stays alive is just so crucial because the Rage Gem is active. 40 seconds. The Queen, we have as well the outside troops to make sure that there is hopefully no time issue. Is this the first 3-star for HGM? The action figure, the Giant is pushing forward. The Queen, the Warden, everything is marching in. It's only the multi-arch tower.
Yeah, he's trying to get through it. The Booger's doing a great job of distracting so many of the multi-archer tower beams. If the Boogers were not there, I think one of the multi-archer tower beams would have taken out the Warden, but instead he stayed alive, and Rainberry gets it done. A 3-star for HTM Esports keeps them in this match.
Nice job getting the first 3-star in, and the answer right away versus Rigotorres. And this means both of the teams now having those first 3 stars unlocked, but tying things up right away again. This means only the percentage being the difference maker. Loop is up next for Team Lexnos, and if they want to keep the lead, they need to have a high percentage, or at least what means at least, like, I need a 3-star again. Ooh. And we have a Warden charge with Rocket Loons. Okay. But no Ice Block spell, which is surprising to me.
He's got a Fireball on this Grand Warden. This is going to be fun. A little bit different than what we're seeing throughout most of the day. And look at this, even combining it with using the Royal Champion with Rocket Spears right away. No recall spell for her at all. So he's just letting her get whatever value she can get. And she's also at the same time shaping up a funnel for the Fireball.
Ooh, the Warden, he's investing that freeze. The Headhunter going down right away. Another Headhunter is going to be invested, but that one as well going down quickly. That Warden, oh no! He has so many invisibility spells, but he's not using them to protect the Warden. He used the Headhunters into the range of the Ground Expo. And you can see as well the direction of his teammates. They are in shock because when the Warden goes down in an attack like this, it is not easy to save. But I feel like his reactions were really not too quick, unfortunately. And he has to somehow save this. Can he do it is the question. He's trying to push the Queen into that tunnel compartment with the opening of the Flame Finger.
At least he's able to still use the healers, or having them follow the Queen now, and at least that Fire Spitter that he's skipping is facing the other direction, so he's still going to be able to get some value out of this Queen and the healers. I think what he must have thought that he had a chance at being able to get away with just not using a spell, but just barely miscalculated how much damage was on his Warden and just barely went down. It's very unfortunate, but now using the Rage, using the Freeze, getting through the Town Hall and the Crusher Mortar, and just trying to at least pick up the percent with these rocket balloons.
Yeah, trying to pick up the percentage, especially with investing the Royal Champion that early. The power on the backhand can really miss, and he has some more invisibility spells. He needs to make sure that he's keeping that Queen invisible, because she at this point is supposed to... Oh no, she's on... Okay, she was on the wall quickly, but retargeted to get some more percentage points, hopefully.
There's not much else he can do with these spells. Just try to use them all to keep the Queen alive. I don't understand why he's so late with them there. He's got so many spells left over. And still, he's letting the Archer Queen go down.
That is not good news for him and his team. Luke, I mean, we can see it with the player reaction. It always hurts, but he is not happy with that whatsoever. His teammates as well have to somehow now get back into the match, because this exactly has happened to them in the first match as well. They have done pretty nicely overall, and then there was one attack which was lower in the percentage game, and then Dizzy in the first matchup were able to just play the percentage game and win. And we have seen now the same thing, because if you take a look at the stars, it's 7-7, but on the percentage side they are behind now, which means HTM has the chance of trying to somehow play into the percentage. On this one though, we still have 4 more attacks to do, so nothing is over, even though it might feel like it in that specific situation.
Still a lot of Clash to be played, but this has got to leave HTM Esports feeling good. It's got to leave them feeling like they not only have a chance, but they have a good chance, because like you said, they finally have a lead here against Team Electros, and it's got to put them in a confident feeling. And now Ethan gonna try to go in, take advantage of that slip up from Loop, and really extend the lead. If they can manage to get a second 3-star here, it's just gonna look great for them.
Ooh, the Fox, take a look at that. So much damage taken. He has to invest in another visibility now. But this means the Fox most likely is going to go down, except if he's keeping that Royal Champion invisible. But that would be heavy on the spells. Another invis is getting invested to get that Town Hall. Right now, I don't think that he... Oh, okay. That Fox is alive. Recall. Okay. I mean, that Fox. Is it 1 hit point?
It looked like it might have been half a hit point. I didn't see any color in that HP bar. That was so close. But even if she went down, I think he was okay with that, just to get the tiny bit of value. But it's a nice bonus that she's still alive, and after he redeploys, maybe she'll be able to stay alive if he's got the healing tome here. Queen and King working on the right side of the base. He already used that poison spell for the enemy furnace nice and early, so this enemy CC troops already dealt with. He just has to work major defenses now, the Monolith and the Crusher Mortar, and of course everything else around the base.
Yeah, that backhand again looks scary. We have now the first defenses start firing. As well, the defending Minion Prince is no joke. That thing can deal a lot of damage. We have a lot of loons in there. The Royal Champion ability is getting used, but the Royal Champion, she's going down and cannot provide to the attack with her rocket spears.
Very unfortunate to not be able to use that ability. The Queen in a good position to take out this Monolith, but she is using all her health doing so, and she ends up having to go to ability pretty early here as she starts to fight the enemy Minion Prince. She does have the Giant helping her out, but all the healers are dead. The Grand Warden dead. The Root Riders are dead. It's just up to the Queen, who also is now dead, and all he's got is the King with ability on the outside of the base.
Yeah, that King at least has the spiky ball still left, which means it should pick up some more percentages, but this attack as well is on the lower end percentage-wise. Both teams in the second attack rotation seem to look so good with their 3 stars, but right after, both teams with somewhat low percentage, depending on how far Ethan can push this in this attack. Spiky ball going around the outside would be actually something good for him, because all of those defenses are getting one shot from the spiky ball. This means he somehow pushed all the way to nearly 90%, which is still quite solid.
Yes, indeed. Would have been nice to see him use that wall breaker with the king to grab an extra building or two since he still had the Phoenix, but 87% still pretty respectable. This is going to make it to where I think, how much of an advantage did they have? I think they had a 10 building advantage before that. So it looks like Team Electros have to get roughly a 97% 2-star or better here to catch up or potentially take the lead. So still big pressure now on Team Electros that they weren't experiencing at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, and that's exactly what has happened to them in the first match with the percentage game again. And they have to run against it. And now we're hoping all that Amiolin can somehow fight back, because he was the person, unfortunately, in their first match who had this slip up with the low percentage. So we all hope that he can somehow turn it around, because we know all of those players are super talented. They all can pull off those crazy 3-stars, and he needs to do it exactly now when his team needs him the most.
Using an extra invis spell on the right side to make the defense invisible, force the Royal Champion in toward the Fire Spitter, also activates the Tornado Trap early and manages to recall his Royal Champion with the Fox still alive and healthy. Pretty easy, simple value, but very effective there to start this Root Rider attack.
Surprising concept here that he's investing the Skeleton spell in tanking the Multi-Archer Tower. Typically not the most efficient way of dealing with that. I would have expected it to be placed more towards the Multi-Gear Tower. But instead, he's using the Spiky Ball and general equipment to push through and get the value with a Lock Launcher, because the path in which he's setting up right now looks amazing for the Root Riders. They should path right into the Town Hall, and he still has a lot of power left.
The pathing there that the Log Launcher and the Barbarian King set up looks really nice. It looks better than a lot of other entries we've seen with this sort of attack. The only downside is he used his Barb King for that. His Barbarian King is now dead, and you don't have that Barb King on the outside for the Root Riders to keep them in, so it can make the actual Root Rider push kind of slow down a little bit. We'll see how that plays into effect once he runs out of spells.
With the perfect skeleton spell to make sure the Archer Queen is protected, and he still has the Archer Queen ability, which he should use any second now. There we go, Giant. We have the 2 cloned Archer Queens and the original one. This does not look too bad if the Root Rider push can protect the Royal Champion, because the Warden just went down.
It's so unfortunate when the Warden's supposed to just stay behind everybody else, and yet he still finds a way to get targeted. He goes down. We lose any and all of his passive equipments, but man, he's still looking pretty good. That Real Queen managed to get all the way through, take out the Ricochet Cannon, and she's going for the Builder Hut. He's already got archers and wizards on the back end, and it's going to be a 3-star. So just when it looked like HTM had found a way to swing this in their favor, Team Electro steal it right back.
I love it. Just the redemption from Amiolin, getting that 3-star in and coming back. I mean, this just shows that he's already around as well for so long. He knows how to mentally reset after not his best match in the best attack in the first match, but really pulling it around with this one, getting the 3-star in after his teammate has struggled with one of their attacks, and they are able to crawl back into the lead. And now, well, HTM is in the position where percentage is not enough anymore. They need the 3-star. Otherwise, they are out of this competition.
Yeah, they had the percentage lead there for a while, but they just lost it. They're down by just 3 buildings on percent, but also more importantly, they are down by a star. So unless you're expecting a 1-star defense on the final attack of the match, they feel like they have to triple right here, right now, in order to have a chance to win. They've saved Crispy to be the last attacker of the match, and he's going in with the old reliable, the Royal Champion charge into Root Riders, and let's see how he sets it up.
So far it looks really promising, getting the value in. Haste Vials getting activated because he can take down Cannon, he can take down as well that Fire Spitter, and depending on how far he wants to push it, he could go even further towards the Multi-Inferno Tower, which he exactly does to try to take it out, but I'm not sure. I don't think that he will get it anymore because the Fox went down. But still, great value, solid opening. Now he has to follow this up with, well, a nice pathing and hopefully a 3-star.
He must go all the way. Technically, we don't know for sure yet if it's 3-star or lose, but that's got to be the mentality he has. He has to feel like this is a must 3-star attack. He's sending his units around the town hall like we've seen so many players do. Ooh, that Royal Champion's so close to dying. Can the healers save her? I think they switched to her. Those healers heard me freak out and they started to help. That first overgrowth expires, and now we're looking to take out the town hall.
Yeah, the nice Warden ability, keeping everything safe and healing everything back up. But the King is pushing around the outside since he did not invest that King this time around inside the core, as we have seen from Almi All In. But the Royal Champions keep pushing forward, and there is no Rocket Spear ability to keep her safe. She's going down. This is a lot of damage missing on that backhand because that overgrowth is going to wake up pretty soon. That will be a lot of damage on this backhand with the Monolith, 2 multi-arch towers. That might be rough.
It is going to be rough with 0 spell support. We do have the Rage Gem from the Grand Warden. We got the Archer Queen, who likely has the Magic Mirror, and I think the King ability already went off a few seconds earlier, but the major thing is really just getting through that Monolith, and it actually looks like we're going to have to spend quite a bit of energy trying to fight that enemy Archer Queen. He manages to get through her. He got through the Monolith. He has a Headhunter in the Rage Gym fighting the enemy Barbarian King. It looks like he might have a chance. Oh, why is it slowing down though?
Oh no, all of the Queen clones went down. But the King staying alive is amazing for him because this means more DPS. It's 15 seconds. The Giant is trying his best. The Diggy with the Warden. We have this. Somehow dodge the Spring Trap. 8 seconds. This could be the difference maker. What? This one Spring Trap could be the save. It
One
is
shot.
No! No way! Oh, that was so close. You can see it right there. You can't even see the hit points anymore.
That is just so heartbreaking for Crispy. It looked like everything was going his way at the end. So close. The Super Barbarian dodging the Spring Trap that it looked like he was standing right on top of. And still it wasn't enough. He needed just half a second more, maybe even less. That's so heartbreaking for them.
This could be really the big difference maker because this now means, or it is the big difference maker because this means Eltano has not as much pressure on his shoulder. He can go into his attack way more relaxed as long as he's going to provide the 2 stars. 2 stars, win wars, and that is exactly what he has to go for here. Get that save, 2nd star, and he's going to get Team Electros into the next round, into the next day. But for that, he has to deliver that Royal Champion charge, and as well, take down the Town Hall, the same as 50% of the base.
What a crazy concept that just half a second on that last attack made the difference from Eltano needing 97% 2-star to only needing a 50% 2-star. Half a second means 47 building difference here, and Eltano's got to be feeling good about that. Sending the Royal Champion in here now with the Haste Vial again. A couple attacks in a row, we're seeing the Haste Vial being preferred. Recalling the Royal Champion after she got some simple value there. Did not quite get the Crusher Mortar, but really all he has to do is focus on that Town Hall.
Yeah, that Crusher Mortar not going down on the back is unfortunate, but I think we have seen already a smile from him, even though things do not go to plan whatsoever right now, because actually he's using now 1 heater for his... Okay, do not go too crazy with the plan, please, okay? It's just a 2-star. Don't go too crazy. The 1 healer, hopefully there are no black mines. The lock launcher opening up, and the King has to push now everything into that Town Hall to select the 2nd star.
It will be funny to see if he overgrowth the Town Hall just to make things even sketchier.
No, please no.
He's still holding on to it. He still has the Warden ability as well, being very patient with a lot of things. There goes the overgrowth, and not on the Town Hall. But everybody's kind of dodging it for now. Are we about to see somebody peel in for it? I think we are. Royal Champion's going for it.
And the Archqueen is joining. Even the King, he's just mind controlling every hero in there, making sure that second star is secure. And with that town hall going down, it is indeed a 2-star, and this is going to win Team Electros this match. The question now is, can he push all the way? I mean, he still has quite a bit of power left with his Archqueen ability. The Root Riders at the bottom side. The Royal Champion should go down eventually, I believe, but there's not as much space left.
No, this is actually looking pretty good. He got through the core pretty easily. He still has 3 or 4 Root Riders alive, kind of behind the heroes. That's interesting to see. Most of the time, we're seeing the Root Riders fizzle out first, and we're hoping that the heroes can manage to take everything out at the end. As the Queen slows down and pops her ability, the Root Riders have a chance to get out in front again. This actually is looking great. It's looking like even if that attack before this did triple, I think El Tano would have managed to pull it off.
That is crazy, just to know that, or at least maybe it feels less heartbreaking now for HTM, because they know, okay, even if they would have had the 1 second more, they would have still lost. I don't know if that really makes them feel that much better, but they had the percentage. It's not a 3-star, but they had the percentage needed to win this match anyways. But this means
he
Team
actually
Electros
missed the storage on the bottom there too.
Yeah, like that was the one building somehow skipped. But that overall means that it's going to be Team Electros moving on to the next round of the lower bracket, while HTM Esports is unfortunately dropping out of this monthly qualifier at this point.
That is our first team eliminated from this weekend. HTM Esports will get another chance or multiple chances to try again next month and after. But we got to say congratulations to Team Electros, as they are going to be moving through, and we can see exactly where they fall here on the bracket, moving into the second round of the lower bracket.
That's right, and we can see already as well our next matchup later. Tribe Gaming versus All Exceed. I mean, there's many good matches still left to play today, because they're going to still play 1, 2, 3 matches, because 2 in the upper bracket and as well the 1 lower bracket match. So unfortunately, another team has to go home later today. But a lot of solid scores so far. It seems like that 13 stars were the highest which we have seen today, and 12 stars seems to be most of the time enough to win those matchups.
Indeed, and before we move on in the next match, let's just quickly see who we in the match MVP here in this Team Electros versus HTM Esports matchup. We'll find out here in a second. Drum roll. And it was Amu Aline who you were shouting out with that redemption arc. A really nice attack from him in that matchup.
Yeah, really nice job by him, coming in clutch when his team needed him the most in this second match of the day overall. I'm really happy for him that he was able to bounce back. So that is exciting for sure, knowing that he was able to mentally reset, and now he has an entire night to sleep over it again and knows, okay, tomorrow I got everything and we're going to make sure that it's somehow going to work. So I'm looking forward to see him play then tomorrow. But that was just a great attack by him. So really deserved MVP title.
Indeed, really great from him. We will see more of Team Electros tomorrow, but coming up next, guys, we have Tribe Gaming versus All Exceed. It's going to be another lower bracket elimination match. Their tournament is on the line. Whoever wins that will move on. Whoever loses will be going home, and we'll have that in just a few minutes after this short break, so don't go anywhere.